that story of almost being an FBI agent, and that's awesome.
I have lots of interesting stories, but we only have an hour together. But
okay,
but I'm
next
glad
question.
Yes.
Next question is something I ask really at any guest that comes to see us, just because there's like endless speculations on interest rate, prices, election year.
Yes.
People realizing they need to upgrade from being cooped up with what's been going on. With what you're seeing, and I'm sure you get this question a lot because this is like the topic. Where do you see, or where do you feel the market is heading over the next year?
Well, we had a very brief hiccup, and a lot of people speculated that this was going to downturn the market. I 100% disagree with that. Lack of housing is a lack of housing. It's going to be a seller's market until we build more housing, which we're not doing fast enough mainly because of the cost of building. It makes more financial sense for large developers to build apartments, things where they get a good return on their investment, or large luxury type of homes. I think that the market will be a seller's market for a very, very long time because of that. But other reasons as well. I mean, that's just part of the complications. There's also CEQA. There's also legal issues when it comes to, and labor issues, and there's many complicated issues, especially in California, when it comes to building housing. However, I think there's an opportunity here because of COVID and sheltering in place. Office space retail we've realized, maybe I can work from home. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I don't have to go to an office every day. I've kind of gotten used to homeschooling my children and working from home, and I get a lot more. Well, if you can time block properly. I think all of us have been in this horrible situation where you're on Zoom all day, 12 hours on a Zoom, and not getting anything done. Like, how is that possible? But I think if you kind of get into that time blocking and being more productive, that you're not spending an hour in your car. Me personally, it takes me a half hour less to get ready for a Zoom meeting than actually going out into the world, because I actually have to curl the back of my hair too, which is, I'm all about my hair. So I kind of only have to do the front. But it's just opened up a different work model. And I heard a great quote from one of the gentlemen from Pillar to Post. He said that shelter in place in COVID was accelerated evolution. This is where we should have been a long time ago. And so here we are now, and we're working with it, and we're human, so we adapt very well. All of us, I'm sure we had our period that we just lost it in the middle of all of this, like, what the hell is happening here? But we've adapted, and especially real estate professionals, we're really good at pivoting and making it work. It's what we do. But I think the opportunity with the retail and commercial space is something that's talked about on the NAR stage. I know in the Sustainability Advisory Group, that was a very serious conversation, because there will be a lot of space that's now become available. And wouldn't it be great if we could now adjust that to being affordable housing or workforce housing or just housing in general, where you take, very similar to the blighted areas of inner cities that made lofts. And at first it was a little sketchy, but now it's like very shishi to live in these loft kind of living spaces. So if we make, let's call it residential kind of living spaces, the NIMBYs can't get at us because the infrastructure is there, the parking is there, there's already been traffic in and out of there. It's been a successful model. It just happens to be retail and commercial. But now, can we make it a different kind of a living environment, a more communal kind of living environment, and kind of create a different model of living? So I'm really excited about that, and I do hope that the commercial people jump on this opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that detailed answer.
Residential?
Residential. That's interesting. I like that.
I didn't phrase, I have to give credit to, the first person that said it was CAR President Jeff McIntosh. That was the first time that I heard that. I'm like, I like it. So
Yeah.
copy that.
Okay, my last question is, what would you advise agents who are fearful of their careers or uncertain about how things are going, since you're in that space of giving, leadership skills and
Right.
good stuff you guys do? What kind of advice would you give?
Yeah, the advice I have for them is work smarter. That we're now in a bigger relationship kind of environment where, because our future is uncertain, that our public per se, our clientele, they really want somebody to lead the way, and for you to build your interpersonal skills and build an honest relationship, I think is a powerful, very powerful thing. And just that reach out, be you. I think, like me, it's really hard for me to pick up the phone and call my client base. That's not something that I did during shelter in place, but I like the idea of having a social function with all my clients, inviting them over to bingo or having a happy hour, get to know each other and get to know me, get to know the real me. I think that is the next wave of where our business is going. So for anyone out there that's struggling with, I don't know if this is the right business for me, you haven't tried hard enough. Because if you are a social, interactive person, because a lot of people that get into real estate is because they like working with people. So get working with people and find someone that you admire, how they do business, and do business like them. That's the advice that I would give, because you don't have to do business the way somebody else does it, because that's not gonna fit you well. You have to find somebody that you admire on how they do business, and do it every day. Be consistent. Be consistent. How many coaches have said that? Just be consistent and get out there. So you're just not working smart enough if you feel that this business isn't for you.
Awesome.
I have a question for you. I mean, I love the way you describe the Women's Council, that they're tiny and mighty, and it's also a safe zone. I would like to hear how you encourage your participants to jump off the ledge, so to speak, and have the mindset to stand up in front of everyone and speak and become a leader.
The task is to ask is one of our taglines that we do. And what we do, we're always watching. Women's Council, we're always watching those of us that are around us, not necessarily our members, but anyone that we feel could be a leader. And when I say a leader, I don't mean someone who is a president of an organization or a committee chair or a community organizer, someone who is in charge or riding the bus at that particular moment. We're all leaders because we're influencing others. If you read John Maxwell, he talks about that. Leadership is influencing, nothing more, nothing less. And one of the most powerful ways of leading is leading by example. And that could be you in the grocery store, you being nice to somebody on the street. In fact, I just had an interesting altercation in Costco yesterday, which I thought was fascinating. But it's doing the right thing, always doing the right thing. So that's how we encourage our members, is that is like, we want you to be comfortable with and be confident in yourself so that you will do the right thing even when nobody's watching. And so what we do is we tap them on the shoulder and we say, I think you would be really good at this and I need your help. The first reaction is usually, me? Like, who, me? You really think I'd be good at that? And it's like, yeah, I really think you'd be good at that. And I want you to try. I want you to try. And I'm here I'll by your side to help you try that. So for instance, public speaking is huge. It's a huge fear for a lot of people. We're not going to throw you out there and make you do a half-hour program, but what we'll do is like, why don't you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Why don't you introduce a speaker? You know, why don't you do a 5-minute program on X? And give them the opportunity to do something that's in their comfort zone, but make them flex to get slightly outside of their comfort zone. As I like to say, set them up for success. Always set them up for success. And then cheer them on when they do it. You know, give them that praise and saying, oh my God, you did such a good job. But you know what? If you could do it again, what would you do differently? Rather than, and how you give constructive criticism is also a crucial part of somebody's success. Because if you just kind of like wrap something, you got to wrap it up. I like to say, wrap it up in a fluffy bunny. You got to wrap it up in a fluffy bunny. You can't deliver some of this news with a hammer because they may never come back. But if you deliver it in a fluffy bunny, then it's like, oh, okay, you know, next, it gets them excited about the next time they have the opportunity to work on a project. So that's kind of that. I would say that's kind of the Women's Council way.
I love it.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
How would any of our girls align themselves with the Women's Council if they wanted to get involved?
Good thing is, because we have 32 networks, they can contact me and I can put them in touch with the right president of a network or the right membership director of a network, and they could start that conversation. And I would want them to do their homework to see if Women's Council is the right organization for them, because we put you to task. Like I said before, we want you to work. If you say yes to Women's Council, that means you're saying yes to your own personal development. That's saying yes to people looking at you saying, oh, you're part of Women's Council. You know, what is it that you got? So it's like, let's do our homework and make sure this is a good fit for everybody.
Fantastic. Thank you for that answer. I actually just want to give a shout out to Sheena, because when I hear Women's Council, I know that she pushes herself. Like, I see she'll be involved with this, she'll be involved with that. She'll do all these amazing things. And then you take a step back and you're like, wow, they're just doing big things. They're constantly making moves.
We really are. And it's like when I first joined, I didn't know that I could run for my local association board of directors. I didn't even know that was an option. I knew that there was committees because I was part of the Green Committee, but I didn't know about board of directors. I didn't know about CAR. What the heck's that? And then NAR. And if it was, and when I would go to the every year we have mid-year in Washington, and people travel to Washington to go meet our legislators, our U.S. congressmen. And when I went for Women's Council, I just stayed in the hotel and left. Like, I didn't even sightsee. I mean, that was like not on my, no. I'm like I say, I don't like traveling. So I would get there, I would, get to the hotel and go home. And now, it's like not only did the opportunities show up, but because of how many people I know at Women's Council, they opened the doors for me too. Once again, they believed in me. And I'm an NAR director because of a fellow Women's Council member. It's like, that's, it's just this, when they see somebody doing good work, somebody that's willing to do that personal development. Oh yeah, we'll open doors for you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I love that. By the way, I was going to also say that we've got with us Chantal and Sabine, who are revamping a 45-year-old real estate company in Topanga called Topanga Properties. Mm-hmm. And when Michelle was asking about how can some of the ladies or viewers or whatever align themselves, this is a perfect, this is why we started Rubbing Elbows, to be able to align yourself and connect with people otherwise you wouldn't have access to. So,
and that's a really good point, because when you get involved and you're going to the state conferences and the national conferences, you rub elbows, no pun intended, you rub elbows with people from all different experiences. And you may find that person that knows how a great back end or a great CRM or has the experience of building a team. So these connections that you have definitely advanced me as a professional. So it's like you could find your mentor is what I essentially trying to say. Whatever category you're looking at or whatever you need, you could find your mentor that could help you with your business and willing to help you with your business. I was on a panel earlier and they said, share your secrets. Well, share your secret. I'll share my secrets with you. Absolutely. We're better together.
Love that. Yeah. So we should leave on the comments after this any links that we have to, finding the right group within the 32. You said there was 32 different.
32 different networks, and it's fairly easy. WCR.org is our main. And should I write that in the chat?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I could write it in the chat. I can multitask. I'm a real estate professional. Okay, I can do this.
It's funny that you described yourself as shy because I see you like as the most charismatic woman I've ever met.
It's true. I mean, in fact, I was part of our governing board. I signed when they tapped me on the shoulder, they said, I want you to join Women's Council. I'm like, oh, hell no. I don't want to be with a bunch of real estate women. Like, that's drama. And it is drama. I mean, I got to be honest with you. It's not all wine and roses. But because they boosted me up and I like to say that they stand by your side through everything, and they put you on your shoulder. They put you on their shoulders during your successes. And I've learned and gotten so much more confident because of the women and 10% men that have believed in me. But it's true. I default to shyness and timidness. That's where I default to. And it's just, my years with the council and working on myself that has gotten me to this point. And I kind of like myself, actually.
That's wonderful. The best. That's the best thing to say. We should open it up to some questions just because I want to be respectful to everyone's time. We like to make this, short and sweet and to the point. And I describe ourselves just kind of like you describe yourself. We're also tiny and mighty. We like to be as potent as possible. So if anybody has any question, raise your hand either here or on Zoom. Anybody have any questions here?
Nobody's put up their hand yet. Can you tell us, I did do some stalking and I went to your website and I saw this beautiful green garden that is, water safe.
That's right.
And
drought tolerant.
It's about how you help your clients with filters, lights, all that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate this question a lot. So my nickname is Green Eileen. That because of my involvement in sustainability and indoor air quality, energy efficiency. And I years ago, I had my dream house is called an earth ship. You need to Google that. Nobody knows what that is. It's a home that's made out of earth and 95% recycled materials. And some of the earth ships don't even have moving parts, like no air conditioner, no heating and that type of thing. My dream car, was a car that ran on waste vegetable oil. And when I mean waste, I mean leftover French fry oil that we filtered and put it in a 1985 Mercedes diesel, and it was called the Vegemobile. And when NAR came out with the green designation, it was like, OMG, this is the it for me. This is my brand. I'm gonna walk the walk and talk the talk. And so I became an expert on energy efficiency and indoor air quality. And that's, essentially how I got the name Green Eileen, is that commitment to having real estate transactions and improving the earth at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. As we've realized, if you look at COVID and sheltering in place, we've been driving a lot less, the air quality's better. The amount of food that we're consuming is a lot less. We're not, it's not going into the landfill and creating methane. I think beef has gotten a bad rap. It's actually the food that we discard that puts more methane in the atmosphere. So yeah, that's the other side of me, is Green Eileen. So thanks for that question, Michelle. I appreciate it.
I don't know who else went to Google Images to search Earth home. You? Okay. I did too.
Oh, yeah.
It's the modern Noah's Ark of 2020. Just need two animals of each species.
So
Earth.
we're the modern Noah's Ark. I think I missed that, Chuck.
Yeah, it's from what the picture looks like. It looks it's like a ship inside the Earth.
Oh, the Earth ship. Oh, you did Google it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, they're really big in Taos, New Mexico. I think that's where the movement started. And yeah, aren't they interesting? And they're self-sustaining. The water that they use, whatever's left over water, they use that for the gardening, and so there's not a lot of waste with an Earth ship either. It's a fascinating structure.
Awesome. Actually, we have a question from Chantal. Let me unmute her. Actually, Tal, can you unmute her?
Got it. Figured it out. Hi, Eileen.
Hi.
Wonderful to meet you. Love your green ideas. We're here in Topanga. It's always been a concept. My mom's the broker of the company, and she wanted to implement a no trash policy into this canyon. So,
oh my God, my hero.
She was telling me she's going to take half my office and we're going to start selling bulk materials, so people weren't going to be throwing things away anymore.
Right?
No more containers.
Bring your mason jars, don't bring your plastic receptacles.
You can start with dog food and beans and rice. I'm like, that's not really real estate.
But it's the riches are in the niches, it's building a relationship. It's having people come because you have a like mind, and your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah, she's really good at that. She's been doing real estate here since I was a little girl, and she's very in tune with living on very little. We had solar electricity growing up. You would admire where I come from here in the canyon, because we have Earth ships everywhere around me.
Amen. I may have to come up for a visit.
So yeah, anyhow, so one of my questions was, you say that you train leaders, and I was wondering, is it a system that you have in place where you train them to be what they want to be, or do you just kind of carry them through, and you have a whole team underneath you of people?
That's a good question. I think it's a little bit of it's mainly a culture. So it's mainly our culture of what we do, and the messaging that we portray to the industry. But it's also a series of mentors and coaches along the way. So we have like Sheena. Thank you, Sheena, for letting me be a guest today. So Sheena is a president of a local network, and above her is a district vice president or a governor. And they do mentoring and coaching for the entire network of, how to operate a network, what you're struggling with. Usually what we struggle with is conflict resolution. That's our number one. The other one, of course, is public speaking, motivating a team. So they coach them through that. And then above the governors and district vice presidents is the state leadership team. And that's a team of 4. And we work with the governors and district vice presidents, once again, motivation, support. So that's the only formality that we have when it comes to our structure and teams. And then training, and more training. And that could be anything from how to do Canva to how to do a high performance team, to knowing the DISC and personality profiles. And we're always coming up with something new to work on: personal development, business development, leadership development.
And do you have different things that people sign up to do that, once they join your network, then they can pick what they want to do, and they get different mentors in those different areas?
That's a great question. So every network has a governing board, which is a president, president-elect, event director, membership director, secretary, and treasurer. So you can either be appointed or be elected to those positions. And you also have a series of project teams. So a project team could be a marketing project team, a fundraising project team, photographer. It could be a project team of one, selling raffle tickets or working a database. And I encourage people to sign up for something that you don't necessarily know how to do, so you could learn how to do that and learn a transferable skill. And on the state level, we have about 26 committees, like finance and budget, like ways and means, we have credentials, we have strategic partners. So there's lots of different opportunities for you to get involved and use the skills that you already know or learn a new skill. So there's different options. Great question. Thank you for that.
And so do you basically sign up? Is it like a coaching program where you pay a fee and you go through the system, or do you sign up and you're part of the board and you're working together with the organization and building on your end?
You sign up as a member. Each local network has different, it may have a different pricing structure when it comes to signing up as a member. It's about $200. And then you speak to the president or the membership director and say, I want to get involved. Can I please have a responsibility? And they will gladly give you a responsibility of whatever it is that you're interested in or want to work on. We do not have any formal cost when it comes to coaching type thing. It's the organic coaching that we give one another through the culture of Women's Council. So it's not that a structured coaching organization. It's more of a nurturing organization.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
That sounds great.
Beautiful.
I'm ready. Sign me up.
Okay. Come on down, girl.
No, she get it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm so spread thin, rebuilding this business. I'm on every end of the spectrum. I've decided I'm doing at least nine jobs right now on my own. And, it's tiresome and exhausting. And I know I'm not the best person to be doing at least half these jobs.
There you go. So, it could be a recruiting tool for you too. So it could be you meet members that are part of your vibe and the culture that you're trying to create, and they could come and join you.
There's also that too, but there's also a lot of things that I'm doing that I want to learn how to do better. And I'm interested in a lot of different aspects of what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's only so much time in a day, and
that's right.
When you're spread, you're just getting by. You're doing what you do to get to
I have to tell you that being California state president has definitely set me up for knowing how to work with the team. And I think sometimes people are very intimidated by that. Like, how do I work with the team? So I'm sure that there will be lots of information that you can glean from Women's Council. And I'm not sure where Topanga is compared to where Sheena's network, Los Angeles, San Fernando is, but I'm sure that Sheena could find the right location for you.
Right. Well,
come on over. You're right in my territory.
There you go. Okay.
I'm Malibu, between Malibu and Calabasas. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. Between Sheena and the beach, right in the middle.
Okay. Yep. We have a couple right in that area. So, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
If we have to meet on the beach, I'll do it. I'll definitely do it.
We have to. Oh,
That's so nice of you. I know Roman Schercher with us here also had a question. Roman, let me unmute you.
Yes, thanks for having me on, Chuck, and putting this together. Eileen, I had a question. You have 12,000 realtors under you, is that correct?
The national organization has about 11,000, 12,000 members. California has about 1,100 members total.
Okay. It's still a lot of agents. My question is during the last downturn that we experienced in 2008 through 2010, there was a huge exodus of agents leaving the business. It really thinned out the field. Are you starting to see that now, or is it maybe too early? Are there any expectations in terms of what's going to happen to the quantity of realtors in California? Are there any signals that you're seeing right now of distress in our field?
Mm-hmm. From what I've gleaned from Jeannie Radzik, the current CAR president, and Elizabeth Mendenhall, former NAR president, we seem to have a potential increase of members. So I think there was a lot of speculation as to that this shelter-in-place COVID pandemic would separate the men from the boys or the women from the girls, and those who are really dedicated would remain, and those that were on the fence would leave for something a little bit more stable. But our numbers are not showing that. Our numbers are showing that we may have leveled out, but we'll probably be right on track. I mean, if you think about this in the scheme of things, this was a temporary hiccup, a 3-month or, essentially a 3-month hiccup in our industry, 100% recoverable from. So I don't think a lot of people will leave because of COVID. I think that we'll just continue to grow as an organization. Is what I feel and what I've been hearing.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. Actually, I'm going to say this question on behalf of Rosalind Cohen, that she brings up this topic.
I see Rosalind walking down the hall there.
Yeah. It's a topic she brings up every so often.
I'm running away from my son.
Regarding coming soon and the clear cooperation policy from the National Association of Realtors, what is your take on it being part of the NAR?
That is actually, this is not something that I can efficiently answer, to be honest with you, because my wheelhouse is in leadership. That's my wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. So I haven't researched enough about coming soon and clear cooperation. So if I were to be answering that question, it would be a hell of a guess, and I'd probably not want to do it with this quality of audience. So I'll just stay quiet on
okay,
that.
Fair enough. It's still
not my question.
That wasn't your question?
Oh
no, surprisingly, huh?
What is your question?
So, as a mom for 4, I'm trying to understand. Maybe you can advise as far you were talking about team. When do you recommend to start to build your own team? When you're trying to mingle between kids and buyers, sellers, when you get more busier, when do you recommend this is the time to start to build your own team?
I think when you start with your 5-year plan, what does your business look like 5 years from now? And working backwards from there. You have to start somewhere. It's just like children, it's never necessarily the right time to have children, but you know that you want to have them, and so you start building your family. So if building a team is a goal of yours, the time is now for you to start. You don't necessarily have to, add your first team member today or tomorrow, but definitely get educated, talk to other people that have built teams. I would definitely come to Woman Up when they have Woman Up. They do a lot of, there's a lot of people there that have teams or office managers that build teams. So I think it's doing your homework, and that you'll know when it's the right time. But I know that when you do start building a team, do it right the first time. Hire slow, fire fast, and don't necessarily hire your friends, because they don't necessarily, or your spouses. Just saying, because they may not necessarily be the right vibe that you're looking for. But I would say start now. Start getting educated. Start meeting those people that have done it before, and do it.
Awesome.
Thank you
so much for that. I want to wrap up in just a couple of minutes, because again, short and sweet, and we like to do 25, 35, 45 minutes and we're done. And we get a lot of questions answered, and we're able to rub elbows Zoom wise. We have this thing that we do, Michelle, you were gonna.
Sheena has a question.
Oh, go Sheena.
My question is, you have a lot of commitments, Madam President, and I wanted to know, what is your secret on keeping your schedule, juggling in between Women's Council, NAR, I'm sure you're affiliated with other groups, work, family,
Mhm.
and your own personal time? How do you juggle that? Like what does your daily schedule look like for you to be able to compartmentalize all aspects of your life?
Well, the first, I don't get a lot of sleep. I don't, when I do sleep, I sleep in like till noon. When I actually schedule my sleep. I know like on Saturday, I don't have any commitments, so I'll be sleeping until 11. But sometimes I don't get to bed until like 2 in the morning because I'm sending emails and reading, and I wait for my husband to go to bed before sometimes I wait till like 11 o'clock to start working because, you know, he needs my attention throughout the day. So I would say it's priority management versus time management because each day has a different priority. So today, my husband's a priority because he's going to the dentist and he may have to have oral surgery. So when he gets home, I'm like that he's a priority. But I also had these commitments that I had with 2 panels. And so if I have to explain it, how I get it all done is that I communicate constantly with my husband. I don't have children, I just have dogs. So I can communicate with him what my commitments are. And then I have personal time that I have committed just to him I have time just for him. And I dedicate that time just to him because I need to build trust because he's allowing me to live my passions, which is women's council and sustainability. So if he's going to allow me to live my passions, then I need to commit to him time and attention. So that's my first priority. My second priority is my business. You know, I have to put food on the tables and I have a mortgage. So I will always try to put my business before my volunteering. And business always comes first. And then I just fill in the gaps with all the volunteering that I do. And so it is sometimes hectic. And like today, I got through a wrench of more responsibility from NAR. So that means I have to say no to something else. And that's the other thing to remember, and I'll leave it at this, is that whenever you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, whatever that is. So make sure that whatever you're saying yes to is a hell yes, because you want to say no to the good so you can say yes to the great, because you're taking time away from your family and friends and your business. So make sure that whatever you're volunteering for is hella good, hella good.
Fantastic. That was great. That was really, really good. I really like that. So right before we wrap things up, we have this thing that we do, our weekly win. It could be a small win, a big win, a personal win, business win, whatever. And we all share a small win, whatever it may be. Anybody want to share a win for the week? Anybody? We're all winners here.
Eileen, can you share a win with us?
Well, yeah, a hella win was being on this panel today to talk about women's council and leadership with maybe people that are outside of the women's council world, and for us to talk about that we're not ladies who lunch, we're ladies who lead, and we don't do drama, we do business. And so this was to rephrase, a hella win today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I got one. It's a life win, if you would. For the first time in 3 months, this last weekend, my family and I actually had dinner at a sit-down restaurant. So as things start opening up, it was a little bit of a nice piece of getting back a little sliver of normalcy in our lives.
Fantastic.
That's awesome. Anyone else?
I have a win. I picked up a client recently working with a fellow WCR member and found out he was looking for a lease, very adamant about leasing. Unfortunately, he has a bit of a background and we were able to get him pre-approved. So now we're looking at him purchasing something instead.
Oh, wow.
Excited.
That's a nice little conversion.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Anyone else? I'll say my win. I have a really, really a small one. I found someone to harness all the data that my team extracts throughout the week, whether if it's, we've got all types of things that we do. For example, we'll go and try and find, let's say, foreclosures, very specific foreclosures in specific areas. And we mine that data. And I finally found someone who's just gonna sit down and just process that data for us, which is a really, really big thing. Because when we're juggling, trying to do this, trying to do that, in between lunch and between that. So to have one designated person for it is a win.
Yay.
Is a win. So I do want to thank you so much, Eileen. You've been such a pleasure, and it was so nice to meet you.
Thank you, Chuck.
I'd like to remind everybody again that the reason we even started this is to be able to align ourselves and get to know people that we wouldn't otherwise get to know, hear their stories, hear their journey. And if there's a way for you to work together, if there's a way for you to align yourself together, amazing. If not, you made a friend. And it's rubbing elbows, but we started this when we were just getting to know each other, just COVID. We don't know how bad it is. We'll just do that. It is where it is. So thank you so much for being with us and sharing your story. And I stick to what I said. You're so charismatic. I don't see an ounce of shyness in you. So
thank you, Chuck. Thank you. It's there. Trust me. It's there.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Everybody who's joined here on our Facebook group, on YouTube, wherever. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place, whoever can join. I love seeing the same faces again and new faces. And all of you guys, nice to see you guys, and we'll see you again next week.
All right.
Michelle for
Thank
co-hosting
you.
with me.
Thanks. Nice to meet you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.